everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my colleague, Forbes senior editor, Chase Peterson Withorn. Chase, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You were reporting that Kim Kardashian, who is already a billionaire, is now richer than ever. So to start off the conversation, how rich is she now, and how is she getting even richer?
Yeah, so she is worth $1.9 billion. She, the main source of her wealth is shapewear company Skims. And Skims just announced that it raised $225 million at a $5 billion valuation. So it's a $5 billion brand. And that translated to a $200 million day for Kim, who, owns about a third of the company. So, with that new investment round, she's richer than she's ever been.
It's a good day to be Kim Kardashian, it seems, based on those numbers. But some of us, myself included, have been keeping up with the Kardashians for close to 2 decades now. So, how much can she attribute her wealth to Skims versus her other business ventures like reality TV?
Yeah, she's basically, of course, always has been wealthy. Grew up wealthy, made a lot of money, on the TV shows, had a lot of business ventures before Skims. Still has a bunch of other business ventures, but the Kardashians and Jenners have tried all sorts of stuff. They've been trying to break into skincare for a long time and do all sorts of stuff. So this is definitely the family's biggest hit, and it's definitely Kim's. The vast majority of her net worth is definitely going to be in Skims. So, like I said, she owns around a third of the company, and I mean, it's the vast majority of her wealth.
I mean, let's talk about that a little more because the family, Kim included, has had their hand in a host of different businesses. Aside from reality TV, she worked on a mobile game, fragrance line, beauty line, amongst other things. But Skims is the one that really seems to have taken off into a league of its own. So, can you run us through the history of the company and any highlights that you found interesting?
She co-founded this company in 2018 with a couple entrepreneurs, Emma Greed and this guy Jens Greed, who is the CEO now. And they really found an interesting, niche, which is, shapewear sort of with Kim's vibe, and Kim's aesthetic. And so, over the years, it's sort of been just this slow building, but sort of runaway success. It's definitely the most successful business of the Kardashian Jenner family. And you know, as she's sort of had to figure out, she's had a couple beauty businesses. She had KKW Beauty. She shut that down, turned that into Skin by Kim's, shut that down. She sort of reformulated stuff a bunch of times and try to figure out what's right. And all while doing that, Skims has kind of just continued to be, a success. And so they've been raising more and more money and at higher valuations.
And to your point you made earlier that this is Kim's vibe, I mean, it really seems like it is. It has a really cool vibe. There's smart partnerships, like with the Olympics. In their marketing campaigns, those are also very strategic. They pick celebrities or athletes or pop stars that really meet the moment at exactly that moment. It seems to have paid off for them, obviously, now that the company is valued at $5 billion. Has Kim said exactly what she envisions the future of the company to be, fresh off this really successful fundraising round?
Yeah, it's really interesting because they started out as a direct to consumer, online only brand, and then they've sort of moved into brick and mortar retail, and building physical stores, and they've got 18 of them around the U.S., a couple more in Mexico, and not just, I mean, they built a big flagship in New York City, but they're, I think, in Minnesota and all throughout the United States, and they're using this money that they raised to build even more brick and mortar stores. And so at a time where all this talk for a long time now of companies going online and getting rid of their stores, they have this vision for doing a lot more brick and mortar. And so they said that within a few years they're hoping that it's predominantly a physical retail brand, which is pretty interesting.
Multiple of the Kardashian and Jenners have made their way into the beauty sector. They're not new to this, but Skims is, and based on your reporting, it looks like they're expanding into this space. How so?
Yeah, there there's a lot of celebrity interest in beauty brands, and it's interesting to see how much the Kardashian Jenners have dabbled in it, and it's interesting to see how many of them are how many of these businesses have become successful and they've waxed and they've waned, and you could see it with Kylie Cosmetics, that company that did very well from the beginning sort of struggled, and is tried to build back. I think that you can see that Skims is moving. Skims, acquired Skin by Kim, recently, and so they're sort of moving into more skincare, and then you can see with some of the more recent drops that they're definitely trying to expand beyond just shapewear and definitely into beauty, definitely into cosmetics, and then of course also they have this partnership with Nike, where they're doing hoodies and they're doing dresses and all sort of like athletic wear for men and women.
I think when you're looking at brands that are backed by celebrities, it's interesting to see just how involved the celebrity is, whether it's them just slapping their face and name on a product versus to someone being really involved into the day to day. Kim Kardashian's a co founder and the chief creative officer of Skims. How hands on is she?
Yeah, I mean, she calls it her day job, and I think that's probably true. She talks about how she's super involved in, all of the product, all of the design, and then also all of the marketing, which, makes sense if you have a company, where Kim Kardashian is involved. I think you probably want her in charge of the marketing.
Well, Chase, I appreciate the reporting. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.